The vote in Georgia is narrowing, and Gary is in Atlanta, Fulton County, where we're expecting to hear more. Gary, what can you tell us?
Jake, we're in the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. Normally, the Atlanta Hawks are playing basketball this time of year here. Because of COVID, they're not. So the most exciting thing in the building right now is what's going on behind me. Vote counting, absentee ballot vote counting here in Fulton County. Now, earlier in the day, at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we were told there were still 64,000 mail-in ballots that had to be counted. That number has not been updated. It's supposed to be updated in the next 10 minutes. We can tell you, based on what we've done earlier in the day in DeKalb County, which is right next door to here, they usually count between 5,000 and 10,000 ballots an hour. That was 5 hours ago. So we're expecting they've counted between 30, 40, 50,000 ballots since then. There's 159 counties here in Georgia. What you're looking at is one of the biggest counties. The other three large counties that are Gwinnett, Cobb, and also DeKalb also have thousands of ballots that need to be counted. So these are counters. These are also adjudicators. Adjudicators are people who look at ballots that are kind of controversial, that may have been signed wrong, where it's not clear what the intent of the voter is, and they decide, a Republican, a Democrat, and an independent, if that vote should be counted. We can tell you, based on what we saw a short time ago in DeKalb County, they counted 4,000 ballots in about 45 minutes. And of those 4,000 ballots, about 3,600 of them were for Joe Biden, about 90%. Joe Biden got about 83% earlier in the vote in that county, so he actually gained some. So you can see why Democrats like what's happening here in a state like Georgia. The four largest counties, which are heavily Democratic, have a lot of Democratic voters counting thousands of ballots. And because they're mail-in ballots, because they're early, the presumption is that this will greatly help the Democrats. But we should find out shortly how many more ballots need to be counted here in Fulton County, the largest county in the state of Georgia.
And
Jake?
Gary, we're expecting this press conference at any moment. Is it actually possible mathematically for there to be enough ballots there so that Joe Biden would be able to win Georgia? Is that, I'm not saying is it going to happen, but is it possible?
Right. The mathematical possibility is there. When this day started, there were 235,000 ballots roughly to count in the entire state of Georgia. But I will tell you, included in those counties, it's not just Democratic counties. For example, Houston County, which is in the central part of Georgia, which is where Warner Robins, Georgia is, which is a military base. It's a Republican county, smaller number of people, but they also had tens of thousands of ballots to count there. So yes, there is a mathematical chance that with this 235,000 votes that need to be counted, that something could change in the race. But as you know, you have to be very careful with making that assumption.
Yeah, no, of course, it's not definitively going to happen, but Georgia, potentially 16 electoral votes. Joe Biden right now in our camp, there has 253 electoral votes. Donald Trump has 213. Those 16, both of those men need it to get to 270. Tell us what we're looking at right now, Gary, because most of us have not ever been inside a voting room, a tabulation room.
Right, so Jake, the ground rules are I'm not supposed to walk that close, but I'm going to take a chance to walk very close. And I want to see if I can ask this woman if she doesn't mind. Can you tell me really quick, ma'am, what your job is right here? Okay, well, they don't want me to do that, but I can tell you that what they do is they sort the ballots, and this is what we learned in DeKalb County a short time ago. They sort the ballots, they then count the ballots, and then elsewhere in this room in the back are those adjudicators I talked to you about, the Republican, the Democrat, the Independent. And a typical thing they look at, Jake, the most typical mistake they see on a ballot is a mistake that's not done that is done on purpose, and that is people sign Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck in the write-ins, and they decide if that ballot should be accepted. So that's a more common thing that we see in some of these counties. We can tell you this is a really important thing to point out here in Georgia. If, and of course we just talked about this, if Joe Biden wins the state, it would be quite amazing politically, because this is a state with two very conservative Republican senators, a conservative Republican governor. The last time a Democrat won the presidential race here in the state of Georgia was 28 years ago when Bill Clinton won his first term. He didn't win in 1996 when he ran again. And then before that was 1976 when Jimmy Carter, and 1980 when Jimmy Carter ran for re-election. That's Jimmy Carter, of course, a native son here in Georgia. He still lives in Plains, Georgia, which is south of Atlanta. So Georgia does not elect many Democrats for president, for senator, for governor. Most of the members of the House of Representatives are Republicans, so if there was a change, if the counting of these absentee ballots resulted in a change, it would be quite a startling political story. But you can see these people are genuine heroes. We've seen this. I was just in Ohio the last few days covering and working in the precincts with those people, watching how hard they work, watching how hard these people work. And these are American heroes. They're not only working hard for a very important reason, but they're working hard during a COVID pandemic. They're brave and they're courageous, and we just can't give them enough credit.